Hey, hi everybody. Welcome to Life After Mental Illness. I'm Bill MacPhee, your recovery expert. And recovery is when you wouldn't want to be anyone else other than who you are today. In today's vlog, I'm talking about my book, Why I Named It to Cry a Dry Tear. And you really need to look at this video because it will give you some insights into negative symptoms with schizophrenia. So again, I'm talking about why I called my book To Cry a Dry Tear. And tomorrow I'm going to be talking a little bit about some speaking engagements in a tour that we're trying to arrange. So I just want to make sure that you tune in for that and get the information, the latest information regarding myself doing a speaking tour coming up. Okay, great. So remember, there is life after mental illness, and recovery is when you wouldn't want to be anyone else other than who you are today. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Hey, hi everybody. Welcome to another vlog of life after mental illness. I wanted to talk to you today about, I told you in the intro, about why I called my book To Cry a Dry Tear. And, I got to tell you, I was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 1987. And it probably, those days, I was very sick. I was hospitalized 6 different times and lived in 3 different group homes, had a suicide attempt. And I was very, very sick. However, I really extremely suffered from negative symptoms. And basically, let me explain basically positive and negative symptoms. So basically, positive symptoms are symptoms that are added to your personality that shouldn't be there. Being paranoid, hearing voices, hallucinating, being delusional, being in a psychosis. Our senses are affected. Our sense of hearing is more acute. Our sense of smell is heightened. Our vision, we see lights refracting and different things like that. So those are positive symptoms. But a real debilitator with schizophrenia is negative symptoms or deficit symptoms. And that's where you have a lack of energy, a lack of motivation. You have an emotional bluntness or blandness. You have a lack of joy. And depression sets in, and these negative or deficit symptoms of things that should be part of us, but they're not there. And so what happened, the reason I called my book To Cry a Dry Tear is because I wasn't able to cry real tears. I could not cry. I had no crying tears. I had no ability because of that emotional bluntness or that blandness and that lack of joy. And it was really amazing, that experience, that I could not cry. And so therefore, early in my illness, I never really knew what I was going to do or anything, but I knew that one day I would write a book. And I knew right away that I was going to call it To Cry a Dry Tear. And the reason for that is because when we dealt with these negative symptoms, you're crying on the inside. You're crying on the inside, but the crying on the inside does not result in any tears. You're not crying physically tears. So I'm crying on the inside without any tears, so the name of the book was called To Cry a Dry Tear. So now you know that. Now I want to share a little bit about with that now. Now today it's totally different. Today I'm recovered, and you know that my definition of recovery is when you wouldn't want to be anybody else other than who you are today. And I got to tell you that today I cried. I made kind of a list here of the things that I cry at because I don't want to forget anything, but I just wanted to share with you how important and how good it is and how healthy it is that we can cry. And some of the things I cry, for example, in church. In church, I get emotional in church, and I cry a lot in church. There's certain moments, not every week or anything like that, but certain things that when I think about them, or I'm just very thankful, different things like that, I can cry. Another thing is that what I can remember crying where probably, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, in our town, Fort Erie, we had what was called the Wall of Fame. And my father was a great billiards player, a great pool player, and he was also a great bowler. And my father was on the bowling team, and they won the championship one year. So then what they did is when they started the Wall of Fame in our town, he was one of the guys that pitched his bowling team were being honored at a banquet. And I remember just seeing all these old guys at the table, and then looking at them pictures and their accomplishments when they were younger, and that really, really made me think and emotional and cry about that. Is how we reminisce about the past and how everything was great in the great old days and the memories, and you remember they had nicknames and all that. And I went home that night and I pictured these old guys being young at one time, full of life, and the aging process. And I cried about that. I cried at the movie Gandhi. I thought that Gandhi just brought me to tears at the end, especially when he was assassinated there. I cried at Schindler's List. I may have cried after reading Nelson Mandela's book. I can't remember if I actually cried after reading Nelson Mandela's book, but I do know I was deeply affected and amazed by him and that struggle, and all his years in prison really did really affected me. A fiction book, I usually read nonfiction, but a fiction book that I read was called The Shack, and I read The Shack and I cried going through almost every page. I was crying. My family, I think, thought that I was going, really something was really seriously wrong with me. But it was just such a heart-wrenching book that I cried. I can cry sometimes when I watch a video called Colin Ray. He has a video called Little Rock. It's about an alcoholic who leaves town to try to get a new start in Little Rock, and he's selling VCRs at Walmart, and he has the bottle in front of him, and he pours it out. And the reason that affects me so much is I had an uncle, my Uncle Gary. He was a wonderful man. I truly loved Gary. Truly loved him. And he was an alcoholic, though. And, being an alcoholic, he made a lot of enemies and that. But I got to tell you, I loved Gary. And, even if I think back hard enough to him and his life, I could start crying. But, that's it. And what else? Brooks and Dunn video. Brooks and Dunn, they have a song called I Believe. That's a great video. I can cry at that video sometimes. What else is there? George Canyon. George Canyon has a video called They Didn't Even Know My Name. It was about a baby that died while the mother was giving birth. It was very, very sad. It was an amazing video. And you know what? Because I got to tell you, with those negative symptoms, with that, with that emotional bluntness and that lack of joy and the emotionless that we feel, it's really real. I want to give you an example. Like when I can remember littering. I don't litter today. I don't litter anymore. Never before. But when I was ill and really dealing with negative symptoms, I would litter. You know what? I'd litter because I'd say, who cares? What difference does it make? It doesn't make any difference. Who cares? Today, I don't litter because I can understand. I understand keeping the environment clean because I'm at a good place. I'm recovered. I wouldn't want to be anybody else other than who I am today, and that means that I don't litter. Because I have that my emotions are back. And you know what? Talking about when our emotions are back, when we're dealing with these negative symptoms and that lack of joy and that emotional blandness, we really lose our sense of humor. I can tell you that when you start getting your sense of humor back, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. And for a while there, I loved music. And for a while there, I did not even play music. Probably there was a year went by early in my illness where I was depressed and that I didn't even care to listen to music. In the car, I just had the radio off and I just not listen to music. And again, when your humor comes back, it's a good sign. So, you know what? So basically, that's why I called this book, is called To Cry a Dry Tear, Bill MacPhee's Journey of Hope and Recovery with Schizophrenia. And I'm going to plug it. I tell you, I won't read a book like this. It has my doctor's notes in it. It has my nurse's notes in it. It has where I was hospitalized 6 different times, lived in 3 different group homes, had a suicide attempt. My suicide note is in this book. And if you really want to grasp what's going on in the mind of somebody who's in psychosis and who's out of reality, you really need to get that book. And I'm not just plugging it because it's my book. I'm plugging it because I know that it can help you. So I'm going to end there, and I just wanted to tell you, if you want the book, just go to billmacphee.ca or go to billmacpheerecoveryexpert.com, and on our website you can order the book and you'll get it in 3 days, and you can have that. Anyways, I'm going to end there, but I just wanted to tell you that there is life after mental illness, and recovery is when you wouldn't want to be anyone else other than who you are today. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Hi. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow me on Facebook and Twitter. And also be able to send me your questions at bill@billmacphee.ca. As well, for more information, go to billmacpheerecoveryexpert.com. Links will be in the description below. Come back for another vlog tomorrow, and remember, recovery is when you wouldn't want to be anybody else other than who you are today. And there is life after mental illness. Have a great day.